Standard Chartered thinks that, hey, if the Republicans take Congress and if Trump becomes president, Bitcoin is going to surge up to the moon, 125K by the end of this year, right? So it could come sooner than expected. So who knows? Who knows at this point, right? There are a lot of predictions. The only thing we can go by is we just have to wait and see. But there are a lot of supporting factors. The macro conditions are improving. The fundamentals are improving. The whales are coming in. The ETF buys keep on increasing. A lot of major metrics and signals are supporting this thesis that 100K is around the corner. If we have to wait another 4 months to February, so be it. It's going to come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. However, if you're looking at the options market, a lot of people think that it's not going to come by the end of this year. There's only a 10% chance, if you're looking at the option market, that it will hit 100K. So, who's right? Who's wrong? We'll see. We still have the usual whale accumulation, 670,000. All-time high. That's not a surprise. We got whale accumulation left and right. I got so many of these that I've shown you guys. Just trust me when I say and where I show you, there are a lot of whales that are loading up right now, okay? The whales could be dormant whales, could be new whales, could be institutional whales, could be non-institutional whales. Whales nevertheless. And all of them seem to be coming in the latter half of 2024. Some came in beginning of 2024, but it seems like the latter half of 2024 is when it really starts skyrocketing. Something's going on. And I think they know what's to come. They're preparing. And I think we know what's going on too, because we're in October and the election's coming up. I think a lot of things are aligning, and a lot of these whales also know what's coming up. So you see a lot of this stuff. This is actually chump change. We have seen Tether mint a billion here, a billion there. So 50 million of USDC, that's actually chump change. If you track whale alerts, you see $1 billion USDT being minted all the time. Guess why? Because the whales are getting ready to buy. That's why. And of course, what happens when you break out and retest, or when you retest and break out? Well, we saw something similar in 2020 when we broke out of 10,000, and then boom, we went up to 64,000. We retraced all the way back down to 28,000. And then we shot up to $69,000. That was a crazy drop from 64,000 down to 28,000. That was over a 50% drop, and then back up to 69,000. Now, a lot of people say that was because of SBF and FTX. They were playing their games. Whatever the case was. But we saw that again last cycle. And again, you know when that pump started? It started in October of last cycle too. It started in October. So we're basically seeing the same thing right now at a much larger scale. Again, for those that are complaining and whining like, oh, Bitcoin's not going up, it's not going anywhere, right? Where is this supply shock? Look at the numbers, okay? Look at the numbers. Can I zoom in here? That's not working. Okay, you guys, I can't zoom in because I can't figure this out. But if you look at the numbers in 2020, when Bitcoin broke out, it was at $10,000. Right now, we're trying to break out at $68,000. There's a big difference there. 10,000 and 68,000. We're roughly 7 times higher than where we were 4 years ago. So people that are complaining that we haven't gone anywhere and Bitcoin has been stuck, we're not at the same playing field, right? Like Bitcoin has been going higher. It has been going a lot higher. So you just have to expand your timeline a little bit, okay? So after this cycle, I don't know where Bitcoin will be. It's going to be a lot different, especially with a supply shock, with the institutions, with the reserves dropping for the first time in Bitcoin's history. It's going to be very, very different after this cycle. Very different. And we may not have a crypto winter anymore. All these cycles that we go through, we hit a peak and then we go down 80+%. This last cycle, we went down 77%. So it was a little bit less severe, but still, we went down 77% for crypto winter. Are we going to see the same thing this time around after we hit peak? We may not. I know history doesn't repeat, it tends to rhyme, but if you just take a second and think about it, with all these institutions holding their ETFs, and these ETFs are holding all this Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy holding all its Bitcoin, and everyone else in between holding their Bitcoin, are we really going to see the same kind of drop as before? All the previous cycles were led by retail investors with lettuce hands. And we know that lettuce hands tends to dump due to fear, right? Due to FUD. But institutions, yeah, sometimes they fall for FUD too, but they have much stronger hands and they tend to pick up when there is FUD. So I don't know. After 2025, we may get corrections, but in 2026, who knows? Maybe we don't go down 70-something%. Maybe we just go down 30%, 40%, and then we recover right back up. So this cycle could be very, very, very different moving forward, or I should say the next cycle could be very different going forward compared to previous cycles. But first things first, let's see where the remainder of this month takes us, and the remainder of this year takes us. And then let's see where 2025 takes us. We have an entire year left. The most bullish year of this cycle is coming up in 2025. This is not one of those times where like we're heading down, right? Like after 2021, when I was streaming for you guys from 2022 going into 2023, we knew, according to the cycle, those 2 years were going to be bad. But you know what? I was still hopeful. I was telling you guys about what's going to happen, right? About the next cycle. But you know what? Now we don't have to do that. We know 2025 is coming up. It's on the upswing. It's going to be glorious.